This is Goku-san, DBZ. And of course, as always, this is Top 12 Sunday, and today will be the last Top 12 Star Wars themed countdown. And also today or tomorrow, I will be counting down. Well, not counting down, but doing 2 more comic book reviews I plan on working the next day or so. Which will be Darth Vader issue number 9 and Star Wars issue number 10. So stay tuned for these 2 comic book reviews. And also quickly before I do, I saw this last week at the mall, local mall here, and I had to get it. Just awesome. And, well, needless to say, I'm wearing Disney stuff. Star Wars shirt, Captain America, Marvel hat. Just in nerd mood today. And also, I'm going to be doing a short video after this one about my first impressions on The Force Awakens. So stay tuned for that. And yes, there will be some spoiler discussion on it, just so you know. Okay, today I will mention honorable mentions first. And these are strictly EU or Expanded Universe characters, just so you know. So, I've already done a top 12 list for Star Wars characters, which are all canon characters exclusively, only characters that appear in the TV series and in the movies. This may have some characters that have possibly been mentioned or some, but they're not truly normal canon characters. 1 or 2 of them. But they're still technically, for the most part, Expanded Universe characters, or as they're now call it, Legends. Honorable mentions. B4D4 is a android from the Expanded Universe. That particular droid existed actually after the original trilogy in the Expanded Universe. Darth Bandon, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, a Sith also from the future era of Star Wars, which time frame was between Empire's Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, but of course Expanded Universe. Just trying to give an idea timeline. General Kraken, a very high-ranking official, and Tranmere definitely, I believe he was from the Old Republic era. But this is a list of particular for opinions of characters people liked from the Expanded Universe. Next is another android called Blue Max. Kind of unusual given it doesn't have the traditional number name and stuff like that, like a lot of other androids. Or just droids, should I say. Next up, Darth Marr. Interesting Sith, not super powerful compared to other Sith, but still an interesting character, nevertheless. Lo Baca. Yes, that's right, I said Lo Baca. So, kind of a stupid name, but it's, he's the nephew of Chewbacca. He actually became a Jedi Knight in the Expanded Universe. Lo Baca would end up, like all, have the Force and used a lightsaber. So it's interesting seeing a Jedi... Sorry for the coughing. Interesting seeing or picturing in your head, really, trying to picture a Wookiee with a lightsaber. It's kind of unusual, to say the least. And the last of the honorable mentions, Mara Jade. And if you're wondering who she is, Mara Jade in the Expanded Universe actually ends up marrying Luke Skywalker, and has a son. In the expanded universe, has a son with Luke named Ben Skywalker. So, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, Mara Jade, last honorable mention, coming in at number 12 from the Old Republic era. She is a member of the Sith race, not the human or other alien Sith, but the actual Sith race. And her name is Darth Nihilus. She is also head of the Dark Council in the Old Republic era, directly under the Emperor of the Sith Empire. Darth Nihilus is a very powerful individual, perhaps one of the most powerful female characters ever in the Star Wars universe, or rather expanded universe. Nevertheless, she is one of the most powerful females ever in that universe. Of course, like most Sith race, she has red skin. Sith race is very interesting looking. There aren't too many that we know of traditionally Sith Lord-wise that were actually of the Sith race. Darth Nihilus was one of the few. Coming in at number 11, Yeoman Carr, which is an interesting character, to say the least. Sadly, personally, I do not have much knowledge on Yeoman Carr, but there's a lot of fans of the Expanded Universe that like this particular character. Coming in at number 10 is a tie between, from the Old Republic era, Darth Malak, which of course was the apprentice of Revan. And tied with him at number 10 is Ben Skywalker. And of course, as I already mentioned, Ben Skywalker is the son of Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker. So, which is interesting, to say the least. It's a shame we won't see Ben Skywalker in the movies, since he's not recognized. Coming in at number 9, from the Old Republic era, Lord Scourge. Which, of course, Lord Scourge, very powerful Sith Lord. Originally, he worked partially for Darth Nihilus, and then later on, he ended up helped Revan and other out with trying to take down Darth Nihilus. Now, in the end, of course, he kind of betrayed Revan and took the side of the Emperor, and then about 300 years later, Lord Scourge would end up helping Revan escape and help Revan take down the Emperor eventually. So that's kind of interesting. And for the most part, Lord Scourge is a very interesting character, definitely one of the more underrated Sith Lords. And unlike some Sith Lords, he does not have the title of Darth. He instead goes by the title Lord Scourge. Just like Darth Vader, for instance, also people referred to him as Lord Vader. So just as a pointer. Coming in at number 8 from the Expanded Universe, Zorba the Hutt. Now, if you're asking who the crap is Zorba the Hutt, Zorba the Hutt is the father of Jabba the Hutt. In the Expanded Universe, he appears in a special trilogy of books. In this particular trilogy, he appears in the third of the 3 books. The first book is called The Glove of Darth Vader. The second is called The Lost City of the Jedi. And the last one is called Zorba the Hutt's Revenge. So needless to say, obviously, he wants revenge and finds out that his son was killed by Princess Leia, or just Leia. And he wants revenge and wants to kill her. Which is interesting, and that this is after Leia and Han have officially gotten married. So this takes place after Return of the Jedi. And also, you have another villain which will appear a little bit higher on this list from this time frame. But Zorba the Hutt is very interesting, and given he's also got like dreadlocks and stuff, kind of weird looking. Try to picture like Jabba with like hair locks, a beard, and long hair. It's just weird. Coming in at number 7, Darth Nihilus from Knights of the Old Republic 2. Darth Nihilus was a very powerful Sith, and in the end assisted his like protege to kill their master, and then he would end up later assassinating his protege to have full power. Because that's the way Sith are. They're always vying for power. That's the way Sith have always been. Whether it was a group of Sith or a rule of two. Now, the rule of two actually was the wisest thing to do. Coming in at number 6, tied, Darth Zana, which is of course, the apprentice and future Sith Lord that ends up leading to the demise of course, the character Darth Bane. Darth Zana is perhaps one of the most powerful, probably the most powerful female Sith Lord ever. Hands down. Her powers were pretty impressive. She wasn't the most powerful, but to be fair, she was a pretty strong Sith Lord, nevertheless. And try with her is a character from that book trilogy I just showed you, from which is first debuted in the glove of Vader. And he ends up wanting to track down the gloves of Vader and stuff so he can assume power over the remnants of the Empire and be the new Emperor. And this character's name is called Trioculus. He's not a Sith Lord. He uses stuff to make him look like he has overall amazing Sith powers, which he doesn't. He has very limited Sith ability. Well, Sith or Force ability, should I say. Trioculus, though, is an interesting character, I will say. Of course, since named Trioculus, yes, he has a third eye. Known, of course, as the mind's eye, or eye of the spirit, in some cultures. But yeah, Trioculus and Zorba end up coming face to face because Trioculus is obsessed, wants to marry and make Leia the queen of the Empire. And being obviously married to Trioculus. And Zorba wants her dead. So obviously the two clash. In the end, Trioculus ends up frozen in carbonite at the hands of Zorba. And by the way, Zorba swindles Cloud City from Lando Calrissian, and Zorba ends up gaining control of Cloud City. Yep, so Zorba gained a decent amount of power, overall money power and stuff. Ends up perhaps the most powerful Hutt ever. Just thought I'd point these few things up. Thought you all might find interesting. Coming in at number 5, from the Old Republic era, Darth Malgus, which is, of course, in Star Wars The Old Republic game. And he is also in, like, a novel or two. He's a very interesting character. If you look at him, he kind of reminds you a bit of Vader with the face mask and the overall black suit. There's definitely a look and feel of Vader with that, but his powers are insanely strong. His powers are greater than that of Darth Vader. See, people think Vader was a pretty good badass in the movies, but his powers really are not that impressive when you compare it to other Sith Lords in the expanded universe. Make Vader look like a child in comparison, power-wise. Now, Vader might be able to defeat Darth Malak, possibly, but Darth Malak knows Sith sorcery. So does Darth Nihilus. So does Malgus. These Sith Lords, that's what makes them more deadly, because Vader knew nothing of the Sith sorcery, Sith magic. There are ancient Sith rituals and stuff that could definitely make Vader way more powerful than he was. But Vader couldn't even have the ability to do Force Lightning, so he was relatively limited to basic Force ability and lightsaber. There was only so much he could do with no ability to use Sith sorcery or that. But Darth Malgus had a decent amount of knowledge on Sith sorcery, and he had very powerful Force Lightning. Now, I don't remember if he had the ability to use Force Maelstrom or not, which is the most powerful Sith ability there is. Only a few Sith have ever gained that ability. Coming in at number 4 from the video game series Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Starkiller comes in at number 4, which is definitely a fan favorite over the years, hands down. Starkiller is a pretty awesome character, I will say that. He's a awesome badass, and he ends up forming, basically, helps to form the group known as the Rebel Alliance. And gets together with characters like Leia, Organa, and others to help form it. Now, Vader wanted it originally created so he could find out who the rebellious leaders are and kill them all. But Star-Lord ends up helping, Starkiller ends up helping to form it, but then, of course, stops Vader from killing him, at least in the expanded universe, of course. Coming in at number 3, the one who created the role of two, Master and Apprentice, which had stayed in place for over 1,000 years. Darth Bane. Darth Bane is such a fascinating character, and yes, technically some people would now consider him a canon character, since he appeared as a Force spirit in front of Yoda at the end of Star Wars Clone Wars TV series. Yes, but he's still, for the most part, really a character which Origins still is, for the most part, expanded only. Since they only did a very tiny bit of him, there's so much more to Bane, which has yet to be revealed. Coming in at number 2, Hugo Damask, aka Darth Plagueis. And I will admit, I still have a good hunch that Darth Plagueis is Supreme Leader Snoke. Spoiler alert. Well, not really, since it's still a theory. I've seen what he looked like in the movie, but it was only a hologram projection of him. So, it's hard to say whether or not he could be Plagueis, and there's very good odds he can. Of course, he was mentioned in like a 3-minute discussion in Revenge of the Sith movie. But that's all, for the most part, with him that has been revealed on Darth Plagueis. So, yeah. Coming in at number 1, Revan / Darth Revan. Hands down, Revan is the most powerful Sith Jedi ever to exist. Or maybe possibly a Dark Jedi. But he has the same special Force abilities that Jedi Masters have gained. And he also has gained the knowledge of how to use Force Lightning as well, even though he ends up goes away from the dark side, but he still retains the ability to use Force Lightning and Force Maelstrom. Malgus and Darth Bane and Darth Revan are 3 of the only Sith Lords that have the ability to summon Force Hailstorm, which is a storm of Force Lightning, which blows out of the water anything Palpatine could do. Though Palpatine was deadly because he was one of the most powerful Sith when it comes to the areas of mind manipulation. He is definitely a master manipulator, perhaps the greatest Sith manipulator. Well, second greatest. Greatest would probably be Darth Plagueis, for the most part. But that is top 12 expanded universe characters from Star Wars, and I hope you enjoyed this. And of course, please go out, support Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's a great movie. And at the end, I thought I would rank right now, from worst to best, the 7 movies, in my own personal opinion. For me, the last place, 7th place, goes to Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Number 6 goes to Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Number 5. This is going to make some people mad. Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of Return of the Jedi. People like to bash Jar Jar, but I feel the same way about the Ewoks. The stupid little teddy bears, which apparently I'll see humans. Just saying. And those Ewok movies were crap. Coming in at number 4. After just seeing it one time so far. Coming at number 4 is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now, I'm planning on watching The Force Awakens a second time tomorrow. I'm going to probably, before it's all said and done, I'm probably going to end up seeing The Force Awakens probably 4 times in theaters. So, everybody I've known that has seen it, they say the next time they go, they like it more. So, I'm looking forward to watching it and see if there's things that I end up noticing that I didn't notice the first time in the movie. That's usually how it goes when you watch a movie. Number 3 of my favorites is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Yes, people probably think I'm nuts that I like Revenge of the Sith more than Return of the Jedi. Well, excuse me, but I just happen to love Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, because the head nods to Darth Plagueis, and also if you look close in the Chancellor's Supreme Chancellor Palpatine's chambers and stuff office, you will actually closely look in the background, you'll see a small statue of Darth Bane. There's head nods to the Expanded Universe in that movie, which is one of the things I loved about it. And Palpatine was epic in that movie. Coming in at number 2. Now, for a long time there, Empire Strikes Back has been my favorite, like most people's, but as of late, the more I rewatch, the more I realize I don't like Empire Strikes Back the most. And Empire Strikes Back, it comes in second place. For the longest time, it was my favorite. But more recently, the more I rewatch, I realize my number 1 favorite is Star Wars, or Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And that is my favorite. It's the first movie I ever saw, and it's what got me to love the Star Wars franchise. And like literally about 50% of things in The Force Awakens are identical to A New Hope. Now we'll eventually see if The Force Awakens ends up in my top 3 favorites or not, but tell me what your favorite Expanded Universe characters are, or tell me what your favorite movie is in the Star Wars movies. As always, this is Goku-san DBZ. Peace out. And hopefully someday we do. And also, happy holidays to everyone out there in YouTube land. And I hope you all have a good end of 2015. And I'm going to be doing a special top 12 list this week outside of this. It's going to be the top 12 anticipated movies of 2016 for me personally. So stay tuned for that. And follow me at twitter.com/GokuSunDBZ, as well as on Google+, GokuSunDBZ. And please thumbs up this video, subscribe, and let us know about my channel. And I'll see you all here back soon enough. May the Force be with you.